need. Today especially, they're asking for 120 churches throughout the country to pray for the success of the ministry. Now they've started this new program called Missionary Drivers, which I'm blessed to be a part of. And they're training drivers to act as chaplains and spokesmen for the truck stop ministries and, of course, Jesus Christ. And bring up to date the truckers and try to help them come closer to God. Now, in the first 2 months of this year, we had over 4,800 people, drivers, attending truck stop chapels and truck stop ministries. 108 of those were saved. Now, they're trying to expand the ministry, and they're asking everybody today to pray for the truck stop ministries and the truckers out there to bring them up to date. To tell you the importance of the missionary driver, we're supposed to be able to fill in whenever a chaplain doesn't show up. Now, I had this opportunity a few weeks ago in Jackson, Georgia, which is the home of truck stop ministries. The last place in the world you'd expect a chaplain not to show up. So we happened to be there, and we go to chapel, and there's no chaplain. So this one lady that has this truck stop chapel as her home church called the founder of Truck Stop Ministries and told him that, well, I'll be there in about 20 minutes. Well, meanwhile, we walk over, and she called him back. And so, Jim and Mary are here. He said, well, that's fine. Tell Jim to take the sermon. Oh, boy. Totally unprepared. So I got up there and looking for a hole in the floor to call for, and there wasn't one. And the place had to be full that day. And while I figured I'd palm it off on her, I said, well, I take a prayer request. While she's doing that, in walks Joe Hunter, the founder of Truck Stop Ministries. No pressure there. So I said, well, Joe, you can see if I'm better from up here, you know. And they said, you can take over. He said, no, you're doing fine. Just go ahead. And I went brain dead. I figured, well, we'll just talk about planting seeds or something. That went nowhere. Then I thought, well, maybe Noah's Ark will do something. That did nothing else. I mean, God hung me out to dry. Plain English. And as he figured I'd suffered long enough, he told me, go to Revelations chapter 1, start reading. So I did. And I said, about the 7 lampstands, and I said to somebody, does anyone know what the 7 lampstands represent? I didn't. And one guy jumped up and said, yeah, it's talking about the 7 churches. Okay. I said, okay. I read a little bit more, and I asked another question. Somebody else jumped in with the answer, but we got a big discussion going. Let me off the hook real good. But now, I've got 2 sermons I'm working on to be prepared for the next time. But anyway, they do want to know if you will pray for the Truck Stop Ministries and help with their continued success. And you got a little bit.
Okay. Well, as an assistant to a truck stop I just been very good too. Missionary driver. One of the things that they have us, the wives do, is before the sermon, before the church fills up, I go to each chair in the chapel and pray that God will lead somebody in to fill the chairs, which is pretty hard to do. But I wanted to just tell you a couple of things that we've run into as working out with the drivers. We were in a truck stop sitting in the booth, and we take turns in the morning, when we have our food lessons, we take turns saying prayer. 3 truckers came in and sat at a table right beside us, And so I leaned over and I said, do you have any prayer needs this morning that you need? And the one guy says, oh, well, we'll pray with you. And I just got so excited. So we went over to the table and stood up around the table and we all prayed. And I went back and sat down into the booth, and the one that said we prayed with you leaned over and he says, that's the first time that Jeremy has ever prayed. And it just says, well, we're doing our job. So, just keep in prayer for us and for the ministry and the truckers.
So that particular morning, I went out to the truck and brought 3 Bibles back and gave to the drivers.
Yeah.
So we carried Bibles and everything for the drivers and all.